Today we're gonna look at a scenario where civilization starts over. We are on part 36 of the series, or part 35. I don't actually know. I might go. Okay, seems we were on part 36 of this series. Let's go ahead and get into it. The first thing I'm gonna be doing is changing this country's color because it is literally the color of the ocean. Maybe a little bit darker, but it's too close to the ocean, and yeah, now we change that. Now it looks a bit better. It might get invaded because these countries aren't particularly strong. The old empire, they're gonna probably do some stuff, but we're not gonna worry about them yet. First thing we have happening is well, actually, maybe not. Actually, yes. So we have Turkey going to war with Greece, and also I'm very quiet because it's 12 a.m. in the morning. It's 12 a.m. That's why I'm so quiet. But yeah, we have the Turkish invasion of Greece, and yeah, Turkey is going to go ahead and invade Greece. This is like spur of the moment me recording this. And also on the 4th of February, I'm gonna have to pre-record like 2 or 3 videos, which is 2 or 3 days worth of videos. It's like two videos is about 2 or 3 days worth of videos, and so yeah, because I'll be gone. I thought it was the 30th, but it's not. And while this is happening, we kind of have um the whole world like not being opposed by this, like no one's opposed. And you can see this is probably the lowest amount of countries we've had in a long time. Because all of this is no longer a thing. That this is all one country. All of this is one country. Also, the colors. These are from previous countries. Yeah, like this is all one country now. This is all one country. This is all one country now. There only used to be like 3 or 4 countries in real life. Actually, 5. Um, we have all of Siam being one country, I guess. If you count this being Siam, like all of this, it technically isn't, but I don't count that as Siam. Like Siam is just like all of Southeast Asia, which is all of this, or like all of that. Actually, no, probably not all of that. It's probably more like all of this. That's probably Southeast Asia right there. Maybe a little bit less than that, but it's roughly. Um, but yeah, we have just no one's really opposed by this because the Dutch don't really hate Turkey, or not Turkey. Don't hate Turkey over this. The old empire is they're kind of like the U.S. in this timeline. They're like, why are you doing this? Why? Why? Like what I mean by their U.S. The U.S. does not like countries expanding on their border. With countries being on their border and expanding around them. So that's kind of what's happening here. So, yeah, let's go ahead and look at this peace treaty, and also my hair is being weird. Um, that's fine. Let's go ahead and look at this peace treaty. So this is the peace treaty. Turkey gets all over here of Greece. They're a bit stronger now. They are probably about as strong as they are in real life, because Turkey in real life has like all of that northern Cyprus in real life, they have all that in real life, but they have only like this, like this. Actually, no, that just still does not look right to me. That, looks okay. Like I know it's like here somewhere. Yeah, that's a lot better. So yeah, kind of like that. and they have all that. They have more coast, and stuff. You know, they, in real life, they have like, kind of like that. That is not what it looks like, but just take sorta to the extreme here, because this is sorta what it is. Just take sorta to the extreme because that's not how it looks like, but you know, that's in this broke away from Greece really. Might actually in real life, this would probably be more like, actually, yeah, probably be more like this. Greece is extremely crippled by this, really extremely crippled. They're reduced down to this, to all of that. They have nothing now. What? Apparently, some Greece remnants here. Okay, and this is very interesting. Um, this looks like occupied territory. I don't know why. Should make it more like this. Still like looks like it, but like not. It's like still relatively keeping its like state. It's very vibrant. So yeah, now it looks still like it's like, you know what? They might just annex these. Let's just say they annex them because like their colors are terrible. Let's be honest. And now we have a lot of land of a Dutch country and a giant Russian border. You know. You want what happens in the Dutch team? We have the Roman Empire. Well, not the Roman Empire. Let's just call them the Roman Empire. They're not the actual name. We have them breaking away from the Dutch team and forming its own thing. Of course, this would probably break away into a million pieces, you know. South Yugoslavia, North Yugoslavia, you know, Romania, Bulgaria, Hungary, you know, all break away. But, like, that's what it is for now. It is a joint operation, you know, against all of those countries, against the Dutch team, because alone they would not win. And, yeah, this looks a lot like the Romans. And, their goal is just to kind of have all control over this kind of all of the Mediterranean, except for the Aegean. Like everything except for the Aegean Sea and the Black Sea. They don't really care about the Black Sea or the Aegean Sea, but they do care about the Mediterranean Sea. And Turkey controls what they want. Like they need all of this part of Turkey, not actually all of that, but like all of that of Turkey, you know, need all of Greece, they need all of that Greek rebellion, they need parts of the empire, and their empire is complete, you know. Um, that's kind of their goal. It's kind of their outlook. Well, their actual outlook is probably something like this. You know, get more into Africa, you know. Probably get into Britain, you know. Get into here, get more of the Dutch team. It's kind of like that. That's their outlook. But not really. Because no one's gonna allow that big of a country. That's just a lot of land to invade in general. Even like this by itself is pretty hard to invade. The Dutch team is going to do something that kind of hurts Rome a lot. And they're gonna cut them off from themselves. Like they do own pretty much all of the Mediterranean, so they can just like do that. You know, they could just do that. You know, they go through here. You know, but it does kind of hurt in the long run because it also kind of separates this part, which is probably gonna break away. Like, yep, yeah, it happened. It did happen. Um, you know, yeah, we do have that happening. It's not very good. Now we just have the Western Romans. The Romans are going to push back and get back and get into England, take London, and take more of the general country. But you want to know what the southern Yugoslavia does? They take that, so now they actually have southern, or not southern, northern Yugoslavia. My bad. So yeah, that's kind of the Serbs or New in North or South. I keep South Yugoslavia. It's a lot of land, but yeah, they're kind of all fighting each other at the same time. Um, yeah, to take this kind of area, but yeah, this is breaking away too. And no, let me fix that. Like that breaks away. Actually, no, not again. That breaks away. So they still have coast, but barely any. They're gonna go ahead and just sign peace with everybody. Like, but the Dutch, they're probably just gonna get annexed by North Yugoslavia. But let's not have that happen. Just for the interesting part. Not gonna have that happen. You wanna know what happens? We have no. We have um East Bosnia and West Bosnia being formed. We have those being formed. See, like one day they will like emerge as one country, but for now they'll keep their title. Like this is the Serbian part, and this or the southern Yugoslavia part, and this is North Yugoslavia part. So yeah, um, yeah, the Romans are. If I don't sign it as cited, like I said, I have to talk quiet. It's 12:15. Um, so yeah, they kind of take England. Now, Scotland is probably going to sign for peace. Let's just color them on white. No, I'm just kidding. Um, they're probably going to be like, let's just make them more blue because they're going to break away probably. Hope Ireland does too. No, Ireland does too. Iceland and Greenland do. Like, they're joint. Like, a lot of joint operations we see in rebellions just to get more powerful. Um, the Dutch are kind of backed into a corner here, and when somebody is backed into a corner, they're gonna bound to use all of their strength to get back into power and do stuff in their way. I don't know what it was. Well, I don't know what the I don't remember. Adis Pro said something about it in Russian Civil War video, but I didn't even really listen to it. Yeah, Romania is going to take some land, and they accidentally that's not gonna make the Russian government very happy. But like they're gonna be like, we're sorry, we'll give you back the land. The Russians like, okay. But can we at least have a little bit of land? And like, fine. Here, you can have that. You can have this too. Fine, because they're not really too valuable. Well, it is valuable land. But like it isn't that valuable for like to invade a country. It isn't really that valuable in that perspective. But you want to know what Russia does? They're gonna go ahead and just like claim all of this land from the Dutch. The Dutch are like, "What are you doing?" Russia's like, "We're just trying to save you because once you collapse, we're not gonna have you as an ally no more. So we're gonna we're gonna take this land, and he said, also yeah, they take that. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just gonna make it where Romania looks like that because like that looks horrible on borders. So just ignore that they invaded anything of the Dutch, which are the Dutch aren't actually gonna get fully invaded. You know, they're gonna stay how they are, but they're gonna be crippled, sure. They actually managed to take back England. Well, this isn't actually Scotland. I didn't know that, but it's this. But that, that's fine. Yeah, they just take more of that, and yeah, they're just gonna keep their claims over here. Also, my throat is also dry, so yeah, fun. Yeah, we have the Western Roman Empire like losing land, not too much, but they're gonna push back even harder, and yeah, that all that progress they just made is now gone. You know, well, yeah, it is very gone. Is that the? That's not. But yeah, the Dutch are just probably gonna get like invaded by the Swedes or something, or maybe not. Or maybe they get the rest of the. Now, the reason the Russians are not going to invade the rebellions is just so it's more interesting, like for thing, because like these guys will get steamrolled in that case. I don't want them to get steamrolled because this empire is too big. It needs to collapse. Big empires need to collapse because they're big empires. But peace deal is not going to be pretty. But I'm not gonna do that, like, because this is just the final borders. Because the Civil War isn't really a quote unquote peace deal technically. Well, there is, but like it's more get what you get than like normal peace treaties. So yeah, but let's just see what a peace treaty would look like. So the rise and fall, huh? Yeah, we have the rise and fall of the Dutch Empire. Now, you may be asking, why did they get all of this land back? Well, it's because the Dutch Empire did survive the peace treaty, so the Russians just gave back the land they took. Well, this is not exactly what it looked like, but it's still, like, similar to what it used to be, you know? Oops. Um, yeah, it's still similar, but it's not that similar. Well, it is similar, but, like, it's not as, I don't really know how to explain it. Um, uh, I don't even know what to say right now. But, yeah, Bosnia gets full country. Croatia becomes a thing, you know, combined with Slovenia. Also, the African front of this thing completely collapses. This will stay a union, but it won't, it won't, how do I say this? It won't be forever, but it won't exist forever, like as a union. It will eventually break apart, but not now. Not in not now. Definitely not in the next like 2 episodes or three maybe. I might um I might be lying though because I don't know the future. But that is not the end of the episode. I just wanted to state that this thing's not gonna collapse in the next few episodes. You know, if it's going to collapse, you know, we would have France, you know, the French, you'd have England, maybe even it has Brittany, maybe like as the old days of England, you know, where it had Brittany. Well, it was its own country, then got annexed by England, but that might actually happen, you know. and then they colonized, or maybe that was after colonization. Whatever, I'm stupid. Um, yeah, that is that peace treaty, and there's something else that's happening. Oh, the Russians, what have you done? The Russians are going to declare war on Mongolia and start invading into the country. You want to know the issue with that? Well, the issue with that is that that's going to indirectly cause Russia's collapse. You have Finland. Finland is going to break away again. You know, um, yeah, it's fun, isn't it? Um, this is like mega Finland too. It's not just like normal Finland. This is like if Finland won the Winter War kind of Finland. Um, that's not going to be very good for Russia. And you want to know what else is not good for Russia? The Caucasus declare war on Russia and start invading into the country. And yeah, it's gonna backfire, you know. It's gonna backfire for them, but that's kind of gonna distract the Russians. Yeah, within not very long, the front line, Mongolia, but they're probably just gonna try to stalemate this Caucasus, which they do because they're not very strong. They just got out of a war. Well, not out of a war, like out of a civil war a couple episodes ago. They're gonna go ahead and keep invading to Mongolia because that's their main focus right now, and they're gonna take down to the Caspian Sea, take half of Central Asia, and then actually take all of Central Asia. Do you want to know who else joins this war? China, because that's a very Chinese thing to do. And China is just gonna go ahead and invade up into Mongolia and stuff. Um, they're gonna really be on directly on the same side. China is still pretty strong, but like Russians are considered stronger. But Russia's gonna actually focus up and start pushing the Finlanders back. Now that's not gonna be enough as the Finnish are able to encircle the Russians in the Finnish capital, and they are either captured or killed. And they also start invading into Estonia, which is going to go ahead and break away from Finland because, like, seriously, it makes sense. But yeah, they're gonna in the Finland's what? They're gonna go ahead and spearhead over, and yeah, they're gonna take a lot of Russia. That's a lot of Russia. Oh, you want to know? That kind of gets rid of a lot of Russia's coast. They have a lot to worry about. They have up here to worry about. They had up here at this to worry about, and they had they have this to worry about currently. It's not very good, um, for the Russians. So, you want to know what else happens? We have Ukraine breaking off from Russia and forming its own country. This can also indirectly invade into the gold team, or not the gold team. I'm used to calling it the gold team, because that's what it was previously. But the Caucasus and that's going to kind of distract the Russians and let the Caucasus um, slightly invade into Russia. But that's not going to be very good for Ukraine, as they're going to kind of, yeah. In this universe, Russia has everything everywhere. Like, they're a lot stronger than they are, like I said. But Belarus is gonna go ahead. Well, this is actually a lot of land. So you're gonna go ahead and connect up the Ukrainians and actually give them some land, and that's a lot of land right there. And the Ukrainians are happy. And the Russians do not like this, as they've lost a ton of land. And they're just gonna go ahead and surrender over to these rebellions. So, yeah, let's go ahead and look at a peace treaty. If I can click the right button. And this is the peace treaty. Now, the Caucasus, they got this land over from Ukraine back, and they didn't really gain too much. They gained, like, all that. So, yeah. You want to know who attacks them? No, we're gonna have that for later in the video. Um, Once I explain everything, we'll have that war. And then end the video, because this is about to be 30-minute long. Oh. Uh, hmm. Well, that's a lot of land. Yeah. Well, you already had a hint of what's gonna happen next. The old empire invading, oh, and declaring war. Well, not declaring war. It's more of a skirmish happens here, obviously, and that kind of causes these guys to not be very happy. I just realized none of these countries have capitals. I'll probably do that. If I ever stream, I'll like stream. If I ever do mapping streams, it'll be about this. Be doing something on this. Yeah. But we have the old empire invading into the Caucasus country, and this is pretty simple, isn't it? You know, they're strong, really strong, so they're gonna be able to invade into them easily. Excuse me. And full annexation. So yeah. Oh, these borders look horrible. Let me somewhat fix that. Turkey lost a little bit of land. It's fine. Yeah, the world is looking very weird. The old empire is kind of weird. You want to know else who they invade? Yeah, they invade into these guys, and it doesn't really go very well for these guys. And you want to guess what happens here? If you guess full annexation, yeah. Yeah, that's a lot of stuff. You want to know what else they do? Invade into the Lime team, but they only want the coastal areas, so yeah. So yeah, they're not gonna really do too much. That kind of angers Russia a bit. Yeah, they're gonna make them into a puppet state. Make them even more. And, yeah, a little more. So they look very much alike. So yeah, this is, not very good for the world. Um, as the old empire is becoming very big. Well, it's not really the old empire. It's just the purple team. I call it the old empire because that's what it looks like. Um, like in color and in like where it is. Like because the old empire is like here. At its peak, the old empire had all of this in Africa, all of Mesopotamia, and all of Arabia, all of this kind of area, went up into here, went up and took some parts of Ukraine, went up and took all of Turkey, get up here, you know. On this map, that's kind of how it would look. Like you had parts of Romania, you had all of Greece, all of this. Up into Italy, yeah, up into there, up into here, up into there, and then Puppet State over here. Even had like up into here. They had like right here, at all that. That is a very large country. It would be the strongest country in the world. Like, that is so much land. That is like the Ottoman Empire levels of land. Maybe even then, and then a lot. Some. Because, like, the old empire had like half that land. But this is still really powerful. That was still really powerful. But if that existed on this map, I might actually make us like a video if that actually existed on this map. Because that would look like that would be an insane war scenario. We won't treat that as like a like normal civilization video. I'd treat it more as like a war scenario. Or maybe I'll make the purple team like take all of what is um the the old empire, you know? I might do that as a video idea. But we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that with the main series. It's just gonna really probably be a war scenario thing. But yeah, that's the end of the video. Bye.